How much junk food can I eat per day? So this is a common question because a lot of the time we get asked or told, always eat junk food in moderation. But what is moderation? To keep our bodies in optimal health and to have an overall optimal well-being, we need to be predominantly eating low processed foods. So when we think of low processed foods, we think of foods that are in its natural state or have a very low ingredients list. So if you were to pick up a packet of rice, for example, the ingredients list would be rice. Same for things such as whole grains, such as couscous, pastas. It's where we get to these types of things such as like the cakes, the biscuits, those types of packets we can pick up and we can see multiple added ingredients. We know that all these cakes and biscuits, ice creams, etc., the types of foods we call, in quotation marks, junk food, or known as treats, these are those sometimes foods that we want to be eating in moderation. They don't provide us with much nutrient value. They're hyperpalatable, which means that they're very easy to overconsume due to their usual mix of a fat ingredient and a carbohydrate ingredient. So if you think of ice cream, for example, it's a great mix of sugars and some form of fat, such as a full fat milk or cream, which makes that hyperpalatable type food very easy to consume lots of. But it comes with a very high caloric value, which could hinder your weight loss results. So we consider treat foods to be foods usually that are high in either sugars, fats, and usually kind of saturated fats, high in sodium, or a mixture of all the three. We know from research that these combinations of these types of foods give us a very great tasting sensation, which drives us to want to eat more of them. However, if these foods are overconsumed, they could have a very detrimental effect on our health. Also, they could drive us to put on more weight than we might need in order to be in a healthy range. But we also must consider our mental health. We know that these foods are extremely appealing to us, and we know that we don't eat just to deal with hunger issues. We know that we also eat for social occasions and enjoyment and celebration as all prime examples. We don't want to completely eliminate treat type foods from our diet. A life would not be worth living without ice cream, biscuits and cakes, right? Therefore, we need to know how to fit these into our diet in recommended amounts to still ensure that we have optimal health, but we have fun and enjoyment within our life and our eating as well. Just to recap, treat type foods are things like biscuits, cakes, crisps, things that are usually high in sugars, fats, usually the saturated type, and sodium. These are what we call discretionary foods. They're not actually required for us to have an optimal well-being or optimal health. These discretionary calories, or known as indulgences, how much exactly can I have and still really work towards achieving a really healthy well-being? And this is always going to depend on the individual, on the person, how active they are. You'll see top performing athletes being able to or needing to consume more hyperpalatable type foods in order to meet their energy and calorie requirements. However, for the average day person who is, looking to look after their health, look after their body composition, and maybe trains, 3 to 5 times a week in the gym or doing some cardiovascular exercise, Nutrition Australia defines how much calories we should be using towards discretionary calories, and they define this as a daily need of 143 calories. Those 143 calories equate to 1 serve per day, and we know that yes, sometimes we'll go out to a restaurant and we'll have a dessert, and that's far more than the 143 calories that is being recommended to us by Nutrition Australia. However, we can utilize this maybe on a week-to-week basis as opposed to a day-to-day basis. So you might go, okay, this weekend I'm going out and I want to have a dessert with my friends. We're going out for someone's birthday. It'd be really nice to have a dessert. I know that dessert's probably going to be in the realm of about 500 calories. So therefore you might go, 5 days or even the whole week without having any kind of these discretionary calories, or you have a lot less than 143 per day, because you know that dessert is going to basically use the allotment of that week's worth of discretionary calories. I do believe the best approach in order to kind of look at discretionary calories is to look at them as exactly what they are. They're indulgences. They may be daily for you. You may choose to have something small per day. Maybe it's a small chocolate bar per day that equates to 80 to 100 calories. Or maybe it's you like going out for a meal and you like being able to freely order a dessert and enjoy it and know that you're not moving away from your health and maybe potentially weight loss goals. So it really comes back to the individual and what they enjoy. Some people will enjoy a couple of glasses of wine with a meal and they would choose that over a dessert. Some people would prefer to go for maybe a starter and a main and therefore forgo the dessert or the wine or alcoholic drinks. So once again, this really comes back to what matters to you. What matters the most to you? And remember, you are the one that is in control of your nutritional decisions. So if you are finding that maybe you need to lose weight or your health is being impacted at this particular time and you need to work on it, then you'll have to be a little bit more careful about how many indulgences you have on a day-to-day or week-to-week basis. And also you might kind of look at it from a mental health, well-being side of things. You might decide, it's my daughter's birthday this weekend. I want to have a slice of cake to help celebrate this day. It only comes once a year. It's an important situation to me. Therefore, I'm going to choose, and I'm in control of that decision, to have a slice of cake with my daughter to celebrate. So that really comes back to it, you owning your decisions. And it also comes back to defining why you are having that indulgence. I mean, if you are having it to celebrate something or because you've gone around to your friend's place, they've cooked you an amazing meal and they've offered you a dessert and you want to have that dessert, then that's a great social occasion. You're getting so much from a well-being perspective. However, if you're sitting in front of the TV and you've scoffed half a packet of biscuits before you even notice that one is missing, then that's maybe something that you want to reconsider because it isn't actually helping any kind of formal social well-being. And you might be eating mindlessly at that perspective. To conclude, if you're worried about your health or potentially your weight at this point, it really comes back to a health-first approach. Stick to minimally processed foods, stick to your protein, stick to your fruit and veg, and make sure you hit those targets daily. They're the big, low-hanging fruits. Also, don't feel like you can never have anything sweet or treat or junk-like foods. It really comes back to owning your decisions and being mindful about how you're experiencing those treat-like foods. Are you doing it for enjoyment and because you want to bring more to that social occasion, or you want to enjoy that food mindfully, or are you doing it mindlessly or emotionally, or something's triggered you and caused you to drive for that food? So it comes back to those decisions and those thought patterns.